Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Oh boy, real talk with Yanni. Miss Yanni talking again. Oh, okay. Did I or did I not just say that that older woman sounded just like Yanni? What was the name of the older woman that we covered the other night again? Right? Was it Sheila? Did I not say Yanni sounds like a younger version of Miss Sheila Falselove? Right? So um hopefully many of you at least checked out the first hour and a half, but Yanni just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. She's trying to do a bit of damage control here. Yanni, are you listening to us? If you are, good, keep on doing it. Right? Real talk with Yanni. If you are good, keep on doing it. So let's go through it. Um, the issue that we're having here now is these people are trying to piecemeal this middle finger up to black men with female empowerment, black women empowerment. So if you listen to Yanni speak, you get a sense that she's a bit jealous of the fact that white women and now Asian women are doing what she feels like black women have always been doing. Now I have to pause here and say shout out to the Raj Report, because the Raj Report does say this, which is like these other women are getting some of their cues when it comes to giving the middle finger up to men from black women. So Yanni just pretty much confirmed that to us, right? She feels a certain way about it, that now that the Asian and white women are glomming onto this, that black women are going to be left in the lurch. And you're right, because those women are going to get married, many of them, and have children. Black women, on the other hand, as has been said before, y'all are true believers. So yeah, um, Yanni does a lot of talking here, and there's a lot to glean from this. First, Yanni says marriage is a business. We understand, and there are some black men that feel this way also. We understand how dangerous it is for black people, Yanni, to say marriage is a business. That's some dangerous territory. You sound like a white elitist man, Yanni. I don't know how that works for black people and black women in particular, Yanni. Saying marriage is a business, Yanni. Do you understand what that means for black people who largely don't have money like that? Uh-oh. Do you understand what that means for black women, Yanni? Huh? This is real dangerous, Yanni. This is real dangerous, Yanni. Right? So you listen to Yanni speak, and she goes on and on and on, and she uses a clip of a woman speaking about essentially, and train tracks. She uses a clip of a woman who pretty much got played by this Asian dude, and Yanni refuses to bring up the race element. Right? Yanni refuses to bring up the race element. Yanni refuses to say these non-black men are playing black women, piping black women, ghosting black women, not once, not twice, but thrice. Huh. Yanni, y'all are super loud. Non-black men hear y'all, and they're going to play y'all. Y'all are super loud about how horrible black men are in comparison to non-black men. These non-black men hear y'all. They see an easy lay. They pipe, ghost you, come back. Pun in there somewhere. They come back, pipe again, ghost you again. And y'all gives you 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And I am back. And yeah, and then they do it Second time, so ghost you not once, but twice, maybe three times. Yanni, you refuse to bring up the racial element to that woman's story. Huh? You refuse to bring that up. Yanni tries to backtrack a little bit here in speaking about the 4B movement and attempt to say, it's this extremist thing, and this is why I'm not with any one of these movements, and this is why, I'm alone. Essentially, she calls herself a loner, right? And she tries to make it seem like you do what you want to do, black women. That's the whole point. That's the whole. No, Yanni, that's not how it works. Yanni, for there to be a quote unquote movement, those women that they were actually right about this. Oh boy, is Mr. Z about to back the sisterhood? Yanni, you need hard and fast rules. That's the part that you didn't mention about why women be falling out all the time. Why you can't stay friends. Why other women don't like other women. Yanni, there needs to be a hierarchy. Oh boy, Mr. Z said it. And yes, there needs to be hard and fast rules. No one breaks these rules. Uh-oh. So yeah, Mr. Z's actually gonna say it. Yes, Yanni. On that respect, the sisterhood is correct. In that respect, the sisterhood is correct. Now, the hard and fast rules that y'all not supposed to break is a bunch of BS. It has to do with aligning with black men, let's be honest. Huh? Yanni, once again, says things that we've been saying for the longest. Y'all have heard Z say it. What is that, Z? That the one thing that women do agree on is that men ain't ish. The one thing they can align on, the one time that they're super buddy is beating up on, well, she said men, black men. Yeah, Yanni, we know this already. I've made fun of this already, Yanni. The one thing that black women do align on is that black men ain't ish. But the second y'all not talking about that no more, y'all can't stand each other. Yanni, you don't want to be honest about why so many women in general, black women specifically, can't be around each other for too long. Y'all are insufferable. Yanni, y'all are insufferable. Y'all are self-centered, materialistic a-holes, Yanni. Y'all are snarky, mean, catty a-holes. See, it's easy not to pay attention to that when you have this common enemy, black men. But the second y'all don't got that common enemy anymore, y'all can't really be around each other for too damn long, because that's the only thing y'all can align on is black men ain't ish. And then you got to be in each other's presence for too long, and oh boy. Huh? Yanni, you speak about the infighting as if you don't contribute to the infighting. Think about what you said with this marriage is a business thing. First, the median household income is $74,000 a year. How is marriage a business for them? Uh-oh. And then you wonder why so many people are not getting married and not having children. Yanni, let me say this to you and to other black American women, and by extension to other women. Until y'all get at those rich elite white men that y'all want to be with so goddamn bad, or you want men of varying races that you actually find attractive and appealing to imitate, until you get at those rich elite white men, this ain't changing. You could try to beat up on the men of your respective races and ethnicities or in your same class all you want. Until y'all get at rich elite white men, the ones that's setting the tempo for this, because they're still going to get married and have children. So this whole temper tantrum, these decenter men, and I don't want to have kids unless I have them in the most perfect situation ever. The economy, I'm not ever going to bring children into this world. Yeah, and the rich elite white men with their rich elite white wives, for the most part, they still are. They're still going to get married and have children, Yanni. So you're punishing the men of your same ethnicity and class and income level because rich elite white men priced everyone out the game? And that hurts the society, that hurts the elite rich white men. How? Huh? Did you really think this through, Yanni? Did you really think this through? Yanni says that she's been celibate going on 3 years, 3.5 years. Okay, fine. Yanni, if you're saying that's better for your mental health, maybe this is just the way you express yourself online. Mr. Z doesn't know you personally, but I don't see it. Huh? I don't see it. Yanni speaks about when she was having sex and leaving her drained. Yanni, outside of it being somewhat of an aerobic exercise, giggity, that's not what's supposed to happen. Yanni, are you sure it's not the men that you're attracted to? She says it left her drained. Huh. Let's also be honest about something, about that story that you played with the young lady speaking about dating the Asian dude and him not wanting a relationship with her. He was piping, and that's all he wanted to do. She was trying to make it more than that. All he wanted to do was pipe. She should have got the message the first time. You refused to say it, Yanni. Huh? You refused to say it, Yanni. Huh? And y'all give Z 1 second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. So, and Demetrius says, "Oh, really? Chronic self pleaser, Yanni will say, yes, and of course, it makes sense. I mean, if you've been celibate for years, it makes sense. You got to get it off somehow. So now Yanni's speaking about not necessarily hating men. Yanni, have you heard you in the past? Yanni, did you see how you sounded with that first video about decenter men that you made? Or at least the first one titled Decenter Men? Did you not hear your sass and your snark and your I'm better than them tone? Did you not hear you? Now you're saying it's too extreme? Maybe maybe it's me. It could be Z. It could be the way I'm interpreting this. It could be my ears, my misogynistic woman hating, black women hating ears. It could be my ears. Oh, I was watching it. It could be my eyes. Maybe I'm reading too much into the facial expressions. Maybe I don't understand black women snark enough. And the condescending tone and the disgust. It could be me. Watching these women backtrack is fascinating. You saw it with Chrissy, now you're seeing it with Yanni. You saw it with Paris. Yes, Yanni, it is extreme because Yanni, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told Chrissy. You are extreme. See, y'all, that little space y'all got over there, that black women empowerment space y'all got over there, I know none of y'all want to claim it now. The bar for insanity is so high, it's all the way up there with Divested Zealot and Lexus Exodus and Cynthia G. Y'all think, well, if I don't talk about clearly deleting unborn black males, then I'm not that bad. I'm not that extreme. Yes, you are. Your whole space is extreme. The women you're comparing yourself to are just Nazi level, right? I didn't know that. And Demetrius is Yanni that always trying to sell a rose. That Yanni, I didn't know that, right? Which, by the way, and yes, we are speaking about real talk with Yanni, which would make sense. You got to get it off somehow, right? And if this toy has you hypnotized, well, huh. Yanni literally says manifest. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, just let them talk. She streams for what, over 3 hours, and you just let them talk, right? Yanni, let's be very clear. You, as a 5'10", six-figure earning black woman with all the sass in the world, huh? And all the hangups in the world, and as you said, you're a sheltered um young woman, you're a sheltered girl, and your parents were very heavy-handed. And so when you got out there on your own, you ain't never going back to that. Okay, that with that childhood trauma, it's always there. And now essentially nobody could tell you what to do. It's gonna be real hard, Yanni, for marriage, Yanni. No wonder you talk about decenter men. It's gonna be real hard. It's gonna be real hard, Yanni. So you had lipo. Okay, cool. Yanni, your look is not the issue, Yanni. Yanni, your look is not the issue, Yanni. Based off of what we can see online, you could be a completely different person in real life. I doubt it. Your look is not the issue, Yanni. 5'10", snarky, sassy, manifest believing, right? Black woman that earns six figures and who says marriage is a business. Oh, living in Texas, boy. It's like black women. Shout out to Toya. As Toya said, black women will drive away from the target complaining. I'm butchering Toya's phrase. Drive as far away from the target as humanly possible. Wow. So Yanni is celibate. Yanni making good money, right? She did a whole stream about homegirls and falling out with different women and this almost getting into a fight with a roommate and all this other stuff. Essentially, uh, yeah, I listened to that last week, but and I was like, meh, okay, none of my business. The female gossip thing, right? None of my business. The reason why I'm covering this is to say, Yanni, yes, you are extreme. Two, Yanni, you still won't say this. So Yanni says to her subscribers and followers and those who are listening, how many of you would rather be essentially alone than be in a healthy relationship with a man? Be honest, right? And a couple of her subscribers said they would, essentially paraphrasing, they would rather be single. But most said they would rather be in a relationship with a compatible man, with a safe man and all this other stuff. Okay, fine. Yanni, you still didn't get to it. Most of these women, whether they want to or not, they can't afford to be single. So you're talking about being able to afford to have children. And you're finding weirdo ways of essentially saying men are nothing but walking wallets. Whether you realize it or not, you're saying that. Because almost all you women, especially in the West, are saying that. Hi, feminism. How is feminism working exactly when all these women essentially say, yeah, men are walking wallets? They don't use those exact words. You let them talk long enough, though, and they're going to imply it, suggest it, kind of say it. So once again, Yanni, whether your subscribers want to or not, most of them cannot financially afford to be single. If you're going to listen to us, Yanni, you have to be honest with your subscribers that the math don't math for the single lifestyle they trying to live while quote unquote decentering men, black men. Huh? She mocks it and Calvin says, Z, are you trying to get into your soft guy era with Yanni? Hysterical. She tried to mock it. She tried to mock the soft guy era thing. She essentially said, you know, going back and forth with the men, this is how they start to do this whole soft guy era thing because young women are too loud. And she's essentially trying to encourage her subscribers, and maybe mock was the wrong word to use for that. She's essentially trying to encourage her subscribers to get quiet, to become indifferent. Yanni, they can't become indifferent, Yanni. That's the whole point. They cannot become indifferent. That whole decenter men thing was fake indifference. Yanni, you can afford to do it because you can financially afford to do it. Huh? Yanni, you also didn't mention the fact that women are huddling up or aspiring for the same men. Yanni speaks about going to clubs and seeing women twerk. Yanni speaks about Valentine's Day, and she knows women are full of crap and they talk all this stuff online and on the internet. But yet when Valentine's Day comes up, they really feel hurt if they don't have a man, or if they don't have a man acknowledge them, or if a man doesn't buy them roses, or you know. And she gives an example of a man that supposedly was standing on a street corner handing out roses, and the women are damn near about to fight each other for the rose, etc., etc. Yes, Yanni, because there's only two sexes, and this decenter men thing sounds nice, but it ain't real because you know what women care about? Yes, the male gaze and validation from men. Who else are they supposed to be validated by? Other women? Themselves? That's not how it works, Yanni. Yanni, we are social creatures, Yanni. We are social beings, Yanni. We are social animals, Yanni. Yanni, you calling out other women's hypocrisy? Bravo. But then they're supposed to be what? They're supposed to truly decenter men? Yanni, they're only engaging in that as a temper tantrum to black men, Yanni. They're only really messing with y'all on the internet as a temper tantrum to black men because they can't get or keep the type of man they feel they deserve, Yanni. Right? It's the same thing with Miss Sheila the other day. Sheila false love. When she goes in on younger women who have mommy issues and going on their mom and say, you know, y'all get with these men and y'all get a little situation, and then you leave your moms and you talking about how your moms are toxic and this toxic and that toxic. Yes, Miss Sheila false love. Some of these mothers are toxic. And of course, what do toxic mothers always say? Well, I stayed and your dad didn't. Yeah, that's why I know you're toxic. It's not that you stayed, it's that you were toxic. And even for the women who baby daddy or ex-husband or ex-boyfriend are in the picture, they're toxic. And when your children become adults and they're no longer dependent on you financially, they tell you you're toxic. Right? Huh. They tell you you're toxic. So, in other words, what black women are saying is they're never wrong in comparison to anyone in the black community. Not the black children that become black adults, not black men, not LGBTQ black women, not LGBTQ black men. Heterosexual black women said, we run this and we never wrong. We're always on the right side of history. Huh? Heterosexual black women said we are never wrong in the black community. As in relationship to everyone else, we're always right. We're right compared to straight black men, but of course, we're right in comparison to gay black men. We're right comparison to LGBTQ black women. We're right compared to the children. We're right all the time, and we're going in the right direction. Huh? Yanni, this decenter men thing was never gonna work. Not for the masses. If the goal is we're not having children because the economy sucks, then why don't y'all go at elite white men? Oh, because you're too cowardly and you think it's men's job in a vacuum to do that. While you chastise working class men for not being elite rich white men. And you say marriage is a business. Do you not understand the problem here, Yanni? Huh? Right. You're saying marriage is a business, and yet you don't understand what the problem here is. Huh. So you listen to this, and I got almost 3 hours in, and Yanni covers the 4B movement and essentially tells her subscribers, y'all ain't gonna like what I gotta say. And she essentially says it's too extreme and y'all are too loud. But Yanni, so many of you content creators bring your subscribers to this edge, and then you're like, oh, don't fall off though. I want you to get right close to the edge, but don't fall off. Ooh, look, it's a light breeze. Oh, you fell off. Right? I said it. Y'all put these women in this position. They fall into a lifetime of antidepressants. They fall into they fall into being unhinged, and then y'all act like y'all ain't had nothing to do with it. Oh, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. Right? These women sound extreme because content creators like you and content creators like Paris Milan and content creators like Chrissy help to make them extreme. Crystalline Kerosene, y'all help to make them extreme. Alejo, y'all help to make them extreme. Shira 7, y'all help to make them extreme. Well, Shira 7, well, she ain't going back on nothing, so I don't even know why I'm mentioning her. Right? Y'all help to make these women extreme, and then when they're extreme, you're like, oh, don't be extreme. What? Right? Huh. So Yanni spends a good 2 hours or such, little under 2 hours maybe, covering the 4B movement, and then after that is just freestyle. Um, and she's just going off, right? B babble as Edward Anderson likes to say. You know, what's frightening is that Yanni does numbers, right? Like I said, Yanni is the around the way black woman. And Yanni, if you're listening to us, yes, Mr. Z is shaming you. Absolutely. And I'm going to continue to do it. You better believe it's a tool in my arsenal. Oh, you better believe it. Yes, I'm explaining. Oh, you better believe it. Yes, I'm blaming. Oh, you better believe it. Absolutely. Yes, I'm appealing to your higher self. You better believe it. Huh? Yanni, you had whatever situation you had with whatever man you had and it didn't work, whatever men you had and it didn't work, and you, much like Chrissy, came out here. I'm not gonna count Paris. Paris was just out here for the money, like I told y'all from the beginning. Paris just found a lick. She was like, "Oh, black women feel a certain way about black men. Well, I'm gonna keep on pressing that button. Y'all keep on giving me the money." You had whatever situation that didn't work. You were a bit hefty. You felt a certain way since high school about black boys and black men, and you started doing this weight loss journey and working out, and then you found your little lane, and you jumped on the wagon with Chrissy and Paris and all the rest of y'all, Cynthia G, all of these women that start off not so extreme with the rhetoric, went all the way Nazi with the rhetoric, and now a couple of them are trying to walk it back. Oh no! Be honest with your subscribers. I see all of y'all trying to walk it back. Be honest with your subscribers. Look, man, I was in a bad place when I was sounding like that 2 and 5 years ago, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years ago, right? Huh. And y'all give Z 1 second. I heard this rattle. Let me fix this rattle real quick. Y'all give Z 1 second. And we're back, right? And so I cover this because Yanni covering the 4B movement and, you know, attempting to get her subscribers not to be so extreme after women like her has encouraged them to be more extreme. It speaks to kind of this new era that we're in where the women are talking out of both sides of their mouth. I told y'all patriarchy under feminist specifications, where they want their autonomy subsidized, where they want their negative liberty subsidized by men. And if they can't have that, then the hell with men? Absolutely not. Yanni, let me be very clear. You and other women like you that want men to be paymasters so that you could give men the middle finger, have fun with that. Right? And let me also bring this up that might seem like it has nothing to do with anything, but it does. And I forgot to say this last night when we were covering the Drake and Kendrick and Rick Ross and everyone else beef. Let's be very clear. The trying to leverage Jake in his color and his racial background against black men will not work because black men run hip hop. Number one. Number two, because black men, although there is a bit of a back and forth between light skinned brothers and dark skinned brothers, it usually stays as jokes. It's not the same power dynamic over here that it is over there in Black Woman Landia. So shout out to you, Lovely T, for trying to leverage Drake, and that's what it is. They're gonna try to leverage Jake and him being mixed and light skinned and be like, "Oh, you dark skinned black men, y'all feel a certain way, huh? Huh? That's why you're calling him white boy, huh?" It's not the same. I know y'all want it to be the same, but it's not the same. I tied that to this conversation by saying, Yanni, there are hard and fast rules in relationship, Yanni. And no man worth his salt, Yanni, especially for the men that you're attempting to end up with, these captain of industry men, because you said marriage is a business and you're earning 6 figures, which means your man is gonna have to earn more than you for you to be in a relationship with him, for real. We're not talking about who you would have sex with, which obviously you said you haven't had sex in like 3 years, so okay. We're speaking about someone that you would truly be down with and possibly be married to. He's going to probably have to earn more than you. Yanni, no man earning 150 and 200 and 250 and $300,000 a year, he's not going to pay for you to give him the middle finger, Yanni. And he's not going to pay for you to lead him, Yanni. He's not doing it. But dear Yanni, you can continue to live your life and try and let me know how that works. And by the way, I'm not just talking about black men, Yanni. You know, when you say that, somewhere in the world is a black woman saying, well, other men, no man is paying for you to give them the middle finger, or no man is paying for you. Shout out to FD Signifier. They want protection and autonomy. We're not doing it. Subsidize a woman's autonomy, huh? Huh? Dut says, "I'm shocked Yanni hasn't gone the LGBTQ path yet." She says something that's kind of questionable, right? She includes LGBTQ woman in a part of her conversation, and I did say, "Huh, I don't think she's there." I don't know if she's entertaining it. I will not say that. I'm not forecasting anything along those lines. But it was weird watching her kind of insert that there. And Demetrius says, "Dut, it's coming." I'm not gonna say that. I don't know that. I do think Yanni stays perpetually single. Right? I think Yanni stays prepared. Now, the way she was speaking was that she is open to being in a relationship. It just has to be damn near perfect. And yeah, so that ain't gonna happen. So for the most part, I think I see Yanni as being perpetually single. Could Mr. Z be wrong? Absolutely. I don't have an 8 ball. I'm not a soothsayer. None of that, right? Right. But I just see Yanni as being perpetually single. Right. Ugh, right. Demetrius says just like kidology was. Oh man. Right. And that, well, you know, I've said it. That is a bit sad. If I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna call it sad. Instead of you not being an insufferable, mean, condescending a-hole towards black men, you go from black men. For many of you, let's talk. Well, let's walk the path with them. You go from black men to non-black men. Then you swear off men, and now you munching on vagina and having your vagina munched on by another woman. And clearly, based off of DV statistics, y'all can't even get along. So y'all be thumping in those homes and apartments and condos all over the country. Huh. Man. And Leon says, Z, Yanni already found the love of her life, but he and her were broke. Now she has the bag and doesn't have to worry about paying rent on time. True, true, right? But here's the problem. Once again, no man in the picture. And listen to how Yanni speaks. You know, Yanni said in one of her decenter man videos, I want to say, it might have been the second one. Um, I'm not going back to that black hole. I'm not going back to that dark place type thing. And I'm like, but Yanni, you already there. You just you already there. You just don't realize you're using the money as a flashlight, but you're still in a dark place. Yanni, do you hear yourself? Once again, based off of what we can see and hear online, this could be a whole act. Yanni could not be celibate. She could have a whole boyfriend for all we know. But based off of what we see that you're presenting here, if this is real, Yanni, you are in the dark place right now. You said you went out on a date and the it didn't turn out and you pretty much just got up and walked away. You said that, right? You're in the dark place now, Yanni. Do you hear yourself? Yanni, the way you were speaking about and challenging, because you don't realize you're framing, the way you were speaking about and challenging your subscribers about this single life and hey man, you gotta be strong. You gotta be strong. You gotta be okay with going into that bed by yourself. Yanni, not only were you kind of challenging your subscribers, Z, say it, you were also trying to psych yourself out. It's getting taxing, isn't it? Yanni, everybody wants their peace, Yanni. Yanni, that single life, if it's real, and that celibate life is getting taxing, isn't it? Be honest, Yanni, it's getting taxing, isn't it? You speak about watching those girls twerk in the club for men's attention and the sweat going down their back, and yeah, because they don't want to be like you, Yanni. Nice things, a nice new Beamer, a nice condo, and lonely as hell. And the worst part of it is when you have money, being single and lonely. I didn't say single because just because you're single doesn't mean you're lonely. Being single and lonely, oh, it weighs so much more. You want to know why? Because you're not on the rat race for the money. You got it. You're doing okay financially, right? Huh? And Vince is, how can you have a movement and nobody get along, bruh? And thank you for the super chat. That really is the question, isn't it? How do you have a movement and no one gets along? And it's simple. The movement is about separating from black men, unless they're rich or perfect. Have fun with that. Showing white men and non-black men that you're not aligned with black men. They don't care. They're gonna smash and dip off anyway, right? And once again, for the one zillionth time in American history, are black women trying to do the Combahee River Collective. Let's just be along with each other and we can love each other and we can love ourselves and I can distance myself and decenter black men and we'll be okay. All we need is the companionship of each other and it doesn't even have to be sexual. And it's going to fail for the one zillionth time. Right. And we can do these alternative relationships and these alternative marriage models, and it doesn't have to be about straight, it doesn't have to be heterosexual, and it's about the tribe. Translation. Could we just get away from black men and do our own thing with those of us that have kids and those of us that don't have kids? You mean how the hood looks already in the black community? Uh-oh. You mean how the hood looks already in the black community? You mean if I go to an apartment complex in the black community right now, 70% of it won't be single mothers? Huh? If I go to an apartment right now in the hood of just about any city where there's black people, it's not, if we're going to be kind, 65 to 80% of it, 65 to 85% of it, 65 to 90%. Ugh, okay, okay. All right. 65 to 85% of it won't be single mothers. Yanni, are you sure it's the men leaving the women? Because the video of women our mother's age in the 80s on 2020, none of those black women were saying that it was the men. They said, Yanni, listen clear. Black women, young black women with kids and without kids, were saying, we don't want men. We don't want to be in relationship with black men. We want our kids. We don't want to be in relationship with black men. Huh? We don't want the responsibility. Yanni, listen verbatim. Black women said they did not want the responsibility of being a wife. Yanni, after that is when black women started doing the whole, he left me and he left me with the kids. Our moms, when they were 20, some of our moms' older cousins, when they were 20 in the 80s, in the early 80s, in the mid 80s, they were being more honest. Oh, yeah, I don't want to be married because I don't want the responsibility of being a wife. I would much rather be a mother. And there's a couple of black women that still say it every now and again now. So this whole black men having these kids and men having these kids and then they leave it and they don't want to accept responsibility. No, the women don't want to accept responsibility. Yanni, you also have to remember that black women have more children than black men do in the black community. Because number one, y'all are sharing the same men, black men in the black community. Number two, y'all have more children out of the black community than black men. I know, hard to believe. Black women have more children from non-black men than black men have children from non-black women. Look it up if you doubt me. Uh-oh. Huh? Yanni, it's not men running away from the responsibility. You want to know how we know that? Because black men are more married than black women. Uh-oh. Black men are more married than black women, Yanni. Yanni, you have to ask yourself, because even you were speaking in this vein. When black women, because you said black women been on this for the longest. Okay, you're right. Let's go with that. Black women said decenter men. Black men heard that and said, all right, we out. White men heard that and said, I'll pipe and I'm out. Latino men said, I'll pipe and I'm out. And Asian men, apparently, according to the woman that you played her video, Asian men are even saying, I'll pipe and I'm out. Well, damn. So black women sit through action, decenter men, and men heard it and said, all right, bet. And that's men's fault because, huh? Black women said, I don't want the responsibilities of being a husband, particularly to a black man. And black men heard that and said, all right, then. And that's why the majority of black men don't have children, number one. Number two, black men are more married than black women because black men said, well, if I can't meet a black woman that's worth a damn and that cares about me in that way and doesn't see me as a walking wallet, then I'll just date and marry out. And so black men are more married than black women because even black women, for the most part, know the mythical, magical white man thing is just a club that they use to beat black men over the head with because even y'all, most of y'all not attracted to white men like that. Y'all see them as walking wallets. And where does that leave black women? Uh-oh. Well, like you, Yanni. Huh? So Yanni spent over 3 hours speaking about decentering, not decentering men, sorry. Over 3 hours speaking about the 4B movement and how extreme it is and how it's the women that are engaging in this still care about men. That's why y'all being so loud about not having sex with men, not having children with men, not being in a relationship with men, not dating men. Fine. And Yanni spoke about this for over 3 hours. And Yanni didn't really say much. 3 hours. Yanni, you refuse to go right to it. Black women, we can't afford this for the most part. Maybe I can, but most of you cannot. I'm not just speaking about financially. I'm speaking about mentally and emotionally also. So Yanni does the protection thing and says, well, men think it's just physical. It's not just physical. Ah, there we go. You mean the part where we keep on ego stroking you and kissing your ass and telling you, yeah, you right. You mean that part? That's part of protection too, right? By the way, I'm not necessarily against ego stroking your woman, doing some other type of stroking. Giggity. I'm not. I'm not about doing that all the time because she's just a little insecure Betty, insecure, bitter Betty that's mad that she's not an upper middle class, rich or elite white woman, right? And once again, Vince, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Huh? So there's a cost to this, Yanni, and I'm going to continue to remind you. I see you slow walking this and attempting to make corrections and adjustments. I see it. I see it. But ultimately, until you say it verbatim and bluntly, if you actually care about black women, Yanni, you ain't saying nothing. You're not saying anything. Yanni, my channel is tiny. Tiny. And yet, I am still conscious about what I say and who might be listening. And a 16-year-old black boy or a 20-year-old young black man or a 25-year-old brother that's just not getting out of his graduate program could be listening to me. And what I'm not going to do is send them out there to look at women as nothing but F toys to F on. I'm not going to tell them, oh, marriage is just a business. Marriage is a business. Huh? Then you wonder why. And I got to find it because I've referenced it so much. It's going to be so hard to find it because it's back when Sagar and Jetty and Crystal Ball were on the hill. So that had to be at least, what, 3 years ago, something like that. Maybe even 4. Well, more like 3. Um, and saw and Crystal Ball referenced it. I reference this all the time, where she said she came up on an article or some research that showed that the people that were more likely, yes, to be looking forward to marriage and children and all of the family building aspects of life were those that are doing better financially. How's that for capitalism? Marriage is a business, right, Yanni? Did you ever play that out all the way and really grapple with what that would mean for black people who are largely working class, poor, lower middle class? Do you not understand how you playing right into the hands of the Elon Musk? Oh wait, Elon Musk has how many baby mamas and how many kids? Which y'all think is just future? Have you heard Elon Musk speak about this? You're playing into the rich elite white men's hands, Yanni. When you say marriage is a business, huh? Darwinism. Financial Darwinism. And oh, wait a minute. And women of color are chasing after what type of man on planet Earth? Oh, white men, because white skin is associated with what on planet Earth? White men in particular, success, money, status. Well, there you go. Right? Oh yeah, Michael Ross is, and referencing that to that I think it was 2020 special or whatever it was. Um and Michael Ross says only one of them, speaking about the young women in the 80s, only one of them raised her hand when he asked the group of them who wouldn't mind being married to their child's father. Exactly. So 3 hours of Yanni equivocating, is that the word we want to use? Because for her, the 4B movement is a bit too extreme. And Yanni, there's no way you're not listening to this, Yanni. That's why my title is what it is. Say my or R, I should have said or R. Say my R name. Now, I don't actually expect you to say our name, Yanni. I know you and Chrissy have this policy where y'all don't say our names because you don't want to acknowledge that you sneak listening. What I will say is if you're going to attempt to combat secretly Yanni Drake, right? If you're going to try to combat what we're saying and what you think we're going to respond to you with, then you got to go all the way, Yanni. That may not necessarily mean saying our name, but it does mean you have to be honest with your subscribers, Yanni, about what decentering men will mean for them, what decentering black men will mean for them, what this individuality crap will mean for them, what, just like you said, seeing marriage as a business, very dangerous work right there, will mean for them. You tell them mainly working class, working poor, lower middle class black women that marriage is a business, and then you wonder why they so goddamn single with no goddamn money. Make it worse. Without even stability. Right. Huh. Yanni, we just went over this, what, a week or two ago? I went over how single black women actually have the least amount of wealth in our society. It was either wealth or income, if I'm not mistaken. There's a difference. So, black women who need to be in relationship with men, black men, more than anyone else, are telling you they're gonna what, jump on this 4B movement more than anyone else. Okay, and who did this ultimately benefit? Oh, wait a minute, the same white elite men. So, how do you challenge reparations? Challenge for reparations, better yet, when you talk so much crap about black men in and on the media and the earshot of white folks, and yet you're going to call for reparations. Have fun with that. How do you call for reparations for money for future generations of ADOS kids when you don't got no goddamn ADOS kids? Uh-oh. We need reparations for the future generation so they can compete and they can be full Americans. Ma'am, you don't have any kids. Nor are you planning to. Nor do you even want them. Uh-oh. You're complaining about the migrant crisis and the Latinos and Latinas coming across the southern border while you don't have any children. Yanni, social math, Yanni, social math. Right? Yeah, real talk with Yanni. You have to think about this thing. Okay, fine. You're not really for the 4B movement because it sounds too extreme. But what do you think you've been pushing? Okay, fine. You turn the leaf and you try to swaggy moonwalk your way out of what you've been saying for the past couple years. Okay, cool. Right? You still are not being honest with your subscribers that it's not that 4B movement or the Western or American interpretation of the 4B movement is too extreme. It's not going to work for black women. quite frankly, it's not going to work for black women. The masses of black women do not earn what you earn, Yanni. It's fascinating when you start listening to black women you know earning some good coins, some good money, from Bowser to Yanni to Chrissy, and they talk about black men, and they talk about this individuality for black women, and they talk about the sisterhood, and I'm always gonna choose black women or women over a man, and that sound nice, but your 36 and $38,000 average, I didn't say median, 40-hour work week, which not all black women have, those black women, which is the majority of black women, they cannot afford what y'all are saying. They financially can't afford it. I didn't even go whether they can afford it psychologically, right, and emotionally. Yanni, you can afford it financially. We see what it's doing to you psychologically, though. We see what it's doing to you emotionally. Yanni, you're becoming more and more cold. You're becoming more and more cold, Yanni. I know you don't care what men think and decenter men and the male gaze. Ain't no man, Yanni, no man worth his salt that's not trying to use you for your money or your body or both wants to be with no cold ass woman, Yanni. That single thing is killing you, Yanni. It's eating you alive. But that little flashlight of money you have, you think it really means something, and we're watching it not mean anything on your channel. I don't know what the women in your comments got going on, hyping you up. Yeah, but we're watching you, Yanni, in real time. And with a combination of good finances and good living and snarky and mean does to black women. Uh-oh. Huh. Between media and education and women, black women's aspirationalism, man. Mr. Shook to you. Link is in the description box. And Mr. Shook to you says, I swear I still don't know who Yanni is. I must be missing out. Right? And Michael Ross says, studies say you need $2 to $3 million for retirement. Females generally live longer and need more medical treatment, and they earn less. So Yanni is not even thinking of what does this mean long term for even women, black women. Fine, fine, decenter men, fine. Man got to be damn near perfect and be an ultra baller financially to get married and have and even consider having children with him. Fine. And this works out for women who live longer than men and who draw more social support financially than men do. This works out for them how? How do you think Social Security works, Yanni? How do you think Social Security works? We're not speaking about you, Yanni, but all the masses of black women who are gonna need it. Huh. And I am Waffle says she's Ebony K. Williams, Melissa Ford in the making, and she don't even see it. You know, real talk with Yanni to me, yes, Ebony K. Williams, just less educated, and Melissa Ford, yeah, Melissa Ford. And these women can talk like that because of fame and a little bit of money. They can speak like that. They can talk like that. And for some of them, they can afford it financially. Yanni, from what we can see so far, She can afford it financially. She might have her money diversified, so she maybe don't have to lean on the YouTube channel so much. She might have her money diversified so she can afford this. But the masses of black women cannot. Yet someone said Yanni was 32. Okay, Yanni's 32 years old. Her subscribers are around her age and younger. Yanni, your 28-year-old and 25-year-old and 22-year-old subscribers, they cannot afford that. And even as those 28 and 25 and 32 get into their 30s, they cannot afford it. Get into their 40s, they cannot afford it. Most of them will not be able to afford it financially, let alone emotionally and psychologically. Yanni, same sex loving black women have like the highest DV rate, Yanni. Huh? You know, for a group of people that say they feel so unprotected, and I'm glad Yanni spoke about it's not just physical. I told y'all when they really say protect, I said this forever ago. I need to bring this back. When they say protection, what they really mean is you need to protect me from seeing rich white women in my presence. I feel a certain way by seeing white women who I feel can access whatever they want and play whatever damsel in distress game they want and turn on the crocodile tears and weaponize them against everyone in this society, which black women are right about that part. I want to feel protected from the fact that white women live in the same country as me and they can weaponize their crocodile tears and damsel in distress against, well, everyone, including me as a black woman. And I get that, Yanni. I truly do. You got to be with a black man first, though. Uh oh. You got to be with a black man first. That fake ass community thing that y'all want to do, which is really the collective of black men being the cleanup men. Shout out to Obsidian, community eunuchs from a bunch of black women, well, that think and operate like you. Absolutely not. This is the best way to say it. And Indigo, this is fire. And Indigo Flow says, I want to feel protected from ever being offended. God, that's it. That's the one. That's the one, right? Man, you better tell him to watch out. And Mr. Shook to you says, okay, now I can put a face to the voice. My gaming homie's girl is always listening to her on blast. Well, tell him to watch out. Be careful. She not all the way. Her and Chrissy occupy slightly different lanes, and Paris occupies slightly different lanes. Yanni jabs at black men. She punches down on black men, but it doesn't come from the angle of these non-black men in particular. She did make a comment. I'm going to address it in a minute. Are better. With that, put a pin in it. She does say, well, our men aren't marriage minded. Yanni, that's why I said what I said earlier. It's not the black men that are not marriage minded, Yanni. Based off the numbers, Yanni, it's not black men that are not marriage minded. It's black women. When I said what I said earlier, Yanni, the numbers show us that it's not black men who are not marriage minded. It's black women. Black women file for divorce on black men at about 80%. Not only that, black men are more married than black women, both in and out of the black community. Uh-oh. Black men have a higher marriage rate than black women. It's not black men who are not marriage minded, Yanni. Huh? Promise you. Good point. And GC says, if she listens to any of them, assume she listens to all of them. Yeah, good point. Nah. Jake, this is really what I think. Jake, this is a really fire comment too. This is what I really think that Western women in advanced, quote unquote, advanced societies and economies. I really think this is what they're saying. This is actually a great comment. And Jake Zero says they want us to civilize and democratize the natural world from all aspects of danger. No, sorry, that's a perfectionist fallacy. Get a man or get a strap. Giggity, right? I really think that's the threat. I really think they're not saying that in those exact words, but that's really what they're saying. Make the world perfect, or we won't have your kids. And that's what we will leverage over society. We will leverage, shout out to all you feminists, we will leverage over society that we are the child bearers. And until y'all make the world perfect, whatever we deem as perfect, which most women don't even agree on, but fine. One part they will agree on is men being paymasters. I don't know how that's supposed to work with women in the workforce, but okay. Until y'all make the world perfect, we won't have your kids. Well, right? Huh. This is crazy. Man. And Mr. Shook to you says, Yanni, Alexis, and Paris. I'm Waffles Jake and Jake Zero. I can hear her and her girls in the background talking about them. I warned him, but he thinks they are irrelevant. Just had a kid too. But didn't I just say that like a couple weeks ago? That many of our friends and family who are not on the internet, they're not on social media, they don't get it. They think of this like what how Pusha T had responded about the cover art that he found of story on of what Adion, and he was like, I'm not one of these, what he said, internet babies or social media, whatever the hell's like, I didn't make this up. And like a lot of, especially our male cousins, male family members, some of our brothers who are not so much on social media like that on the internet, and they definitely don't occupy these type of spaces, they don't get it, right? Oh, this is a good comment too. And Telescope says it's non-select chicks pretending that men they don't deserve aren't meeting their high standards. Good point. Actually, really good point. Right? Really good point. Okay, Bruce Owen Wayne. I barely understand. I only really get the D madam yo so yo deme ya manje right. So how do I say this? Um, how am I going to translate this? You got to give me a way to translate this, Bruce Owen, right? Me too. Me too, Toya. Toya says, "Well, I got the last part, right?" Damn, Indigo says, "I can see child support in homie's future. I hope I'm wrong." Man, exactly. We know Manje Kaka exactly, right? Exactly. And okay, so Saint here says tomorrow they will eat crap, and he says, "Tell the women, say Coco, Coco, yo, deme yo Manje Kaka." Yeah, so yeah, tell them tomorrow they'll be eating crap, right? Man, we're doing words with friends translate now, y'all. GC says Z got all the zones in one stream, right? So we're covering this today, and y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. We're covering this today because once again, this is Yanni kind of swag moonwalking her way out of sounding so extreme, right? And Yanni, you helped to bring women to this extreme. You help to bring your subscribers to this extreme, right? Yanni, your video in less than 24 hours has 18,000 views. That and that's over 3 hours. Over the damn near 4 hours. Nearly 4 hour long stream, and in less than a day, 18,000 views. That means somewhere on planet Earth, mainly America, or at least 18,000 women in less than 24 hours who have watched this and listened to it and digest this, who may or may not agree, but they at least heard this 4B movement thing from Yanni and got her perspective, right? And this is from a 32-year-old with 250,000 subscribers, right? Hmm. Mr. Shook to you says, my wife don't know crap about this space. Besides, we are toxic. Her idea of her consuming red pill is 8 at the table and Tony Gaskins. Oh, right. And once again, Bruce on Wayne, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right. Man, man. You know, Yanni speaks about this is about what you want, and no, Yanni, that's not how this works. There are obligations. There are vows that you take. You don't just get to do what you want to do. I told y'all this is really about them having somebody in the society subsidize their autonomy and negative liberty. No, Yanni, absolutely not. Yanni, maybe it is good that you are single and you don't really care to have children and you don't really care, as of right now at least, to be married. Because that's not how this goes. And you would think an adult understands obligation. I mean, you are paying bills, right? You would think an adult understands not doing what you want to do, how you want to do it, when you want to do it, because you have other things that take priority, like a family. So I guess also what women are saying, black women in particular in this case, is I'll take on the quote unquote responsibility, not really, if you can put me in the most perfect situation, the most comfortable situation where I don't actually take on the responsibility. What? Huh. Man, Yanni got 250,000 subscribers, y'all. And she gets tens of thousands of views of video. That is what I was trying to tell FD Signifier, how dangerous this is, right? How dangerous this is. It doesn't have to be a million viewers. It doesn't have to be, right? Huh. Remember, this is the woman who covered when a brother said women are going to have to settle. And she said, no, women are going to have to learn how to die alone, right? And Bruce Wayne's translation: "Sit on your vagina, and tomorrow you will eat a turd." Uh, Yanni told him, "Nah, get comfortable with dying alone." She told women, black women, to get comfortable dying alone. Yanni said she don't even call herself a feminist anymore. Now, I don't recall if she said the anymore part. Mr. Z is definitely injecting that in there. Huh? GC, I'll welcome it. And GC says, I low key want to make a diagram of how it works. Black woman talks crap about black men. Black women stops dating black men. Black women gets piped down by white men and call it dating. Black woman doesn't end up with no white man or Latino man or any. We're just gonna say white men for non-black men, but still, black women then tries to circle back to black men. It fails. Then she goes to dating women. Her and women get in fight. Now black woman is single perpetually and says she loves her peace. Right? So of course Yanni couldn't let a good gossip go. So she goes in on Fresh and Fit, in whatever situation he got going on, and she tries to like shoehorn that into this conversation, and it's like, you know, the black manosphere don't really mess with them right like that, right? So, and that's both on the more realist side, on the more progressive side, or liberal side, and the conservative side of the black manosphere. We don't really mess with Fresh and Fit like that. So, what's this attempting to shoehorn them in the conversation? And shoehorn with Fresh of all people, once again, not even ADOS, what he has going on. Huh. Wow. And wait a minute, wait a minute. And Dr. Thunder says, if she's not a feminist, then what do you call that? You said, if she's not a feminist, then what do you call that? And Juvenile popped into my head and said, if I'm not a hot boy, what do you call that? Oh, and that's a perfect line for Yanni. Oh, man. And Telescope says, times are tough. When times get tough, isms and cool trends reveal their weaknesses. Trad values serve best in these times. No getting around it. Yeah, and watching certain black women try to walk this back is going to be fascinating. And that's for the content creators that actually have some type of shame about themselves, some type of moral compass about themselves, right? So we'll watch them try to walk this back, but I think too many of them are just they're just gonna sink, right? Demetrius says, well, she calls herself a womanist, but the thing is she don't even know what that means. Man, that yeah, that's the thing with Yanni and Chrissy in particular. I mean, we saw with Paris. What more blatant example do you have to have? Yes, we know her husband's not ADOS. Paris talked all that crap, femicide over every corner. A black man preying on an underage black girl. Femicide, femicide talk, femicide talk. Black men waiting, tapping on their fingers to harm their black wives and girlfriends and baby moms, right? Black men get off on it. Talking about black men like black men are the most gruesome characters on the face of the earth. We love harming black women. deleting black women. And she turned around and got married to a black man on their ass. She turned Paris turned around. Not only did she get married, she hid her marriage. Then she still tried to be swaggy about it. Said, I don't know, because they want us to do a big African style ceremony, and I don't know if I want to do that, and and I don't really know if I want to have kids, and I don't know if I want to do this. But she still got a safe face. Black women, did you not learn anything from that? Did I sit? These women will walk you towards the edge of the cliff. They will stop at the edge, turn around, and watch you screech past the edge and fall off. And the fall off is into a life of antidepressant pills, a life of misery, a life of perpetually single, a life of that, right? That life. That life. And now what? What do you have to show for that? A couple of videos that you liked from Yanni or Chrissy or Paris or name them. Shira 7? Shira 7 is so bad. Oh boy. I don't even know where to start with Shira 7. Shira 7 she don't look like she got a humanitarian bone in her body. Everything is a product. Every man is a thing, nothing but a walking wallet. That's funny. International Ronin says, but Z dog moms, hysterical. Right? Right? Huh. Wow. Shira 7 dogs 7 black women. And Demetrius says, Shira dogs like 7 black women. Man. Seven. Look, but you can't. This is why I'm careful with what I say, right? Because first of all, I'm not into the doxing thing, but okay, fine. I get doxed. Y'all find out that Z's living the lifestyle that he said he's living. And there you go. Right? You find out that Z's living the lifestyle he says he's living. Right? He ain't front, he ain't putting on. And now what? Right? Huh. And y'all give Z 1 second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. And Jake says, and I do not remember this actually. And Jake says, Z, remember that woman who watched her ex wedding on live stream for closure? She just made a video about going to Afrotech to find a man. What happened to decentering men? Send both to me if you can, Jake. Send both to you can send me both an email, or if you want to put it in the comments later on, right? Wow. And Mr. Stricter, you says, I swear women are so much easier to love when you don't concern yourself with what they have to say or how they feel. The moment you do, they have all the leverage and will use it. What does BGS say? You can either love them or understand them. You can't do both. I might be butchering that, but if I'm not mistaken, that's the quote, and it's accurate, right? You can either love them or understand them. You can't do both, right? Huh. And Telescope says they always looking for a workaround for being an attractive, pleasant potential mate. There's no workaround. That's really what. But once again, what what did Melissa Ford said? Progressive traditionalism, because she wants you. She wants you traditional as hell until you start to assert your manhood. Until you start to assert, um, I pay for this. I'm the one who make this happen. Then she wants you to be progressive, right? Huh? What did we learn from Gabrielle Union? Why did Gabrielle Union tell you she paid for what she paid for? Because Wade put that foot down. It might be a feet with some nail polish on it, but he put his foot down. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Wade put his foot down on something, and she was like, "Oh no, we can't have this. We can't have you asserting your manhood. No, I'll pay for my things." Wade probably did that. No, I'll pay the bills in this house. He probably did the Malcolm voice. He did that. Y'all seen the scene with Malcolm and Betty Shabazz? Don't you raise your voice in my house, right? And Wade probably did that to Gabrielle Union. She was like, "Oh no, we can't have that," right? So yeah, they're looking for a workaround. They're looking for any little schemy, scammy way to say, "Look, patriarchy under feminist specifications. I still need you to pay for things. I still need you to be there physically. I need your presence. I still need these orgasms. I just want to give as little as humanly possible to get it. I want to play both traditional and progressive." Shout out to Melissa Ford for that one. But call a thing, patriarchy under feminist specifications. You hear some of the newfangles, men and women, say benevolent patriarchy, which is not a new term. It's an old ass term. They just hated it in the past. Now they're starting to play with it and entertain it. You'll hear it more and more. Don't worry, you'll hear it more and more. They'll low key advocate for it more and more. And they're going to make it seem like they're settling for that. But no, that's what it was all along. Right? Benevolent patriarchy, whatever the hell that means. And I'm not saying I actually don't know what it means, but whatever the hell that means. Right? Y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. And y'all know reckless streams. Yeah, right? Huh. And Lion says settling, even though deep down I know I don't qualify for better, I guess this will do. And they still throw a temper tantrum about that. Imagine throwing a temper tantrum that you had to settle for something in a better station than you are. Imagine being annoyed and in your moments speaking to your closest homegirl or your moments of solitude, you low-key kind of peeved that you had to listen closely, you had to settle for someone doing better in life than you are, but it just may not be your most preferred choice of mate. So you feel like you settled, even though Buddy Rowe is literally subsidizing your life. Y'all notice Mr. Z says subsidized? Y'all know why I say subsidized, right? Because you should not have to be paymaster 1,000, right? If you pay the majority of the bills, you're subsidizing her. Even if you're not paying the majority of her bills, you're subsidizing her life. And yet, women who you're subsidizing their life, right, feel like because they didn't get Chisel Chin Tyrone, that's 6'7", or Chisel Chin Chad, that's 6'7", somehow they settled. Isn't that what the young lady said? Who reviewed her? I know I reviewed her. Was it BGS? Well, I didn't get everything on my list, so I settled. That's not how settling works, right? I didn't get and then, okay, so that speaks to the difference in how men grade and women grade. Where what I've said this before, if we could get 8 out of 10 things, we won the lottery. If we could get 7 out of 10 things, we're content. If we get 6 out of 10 things low key, we'll be like, all right. That's exactly what I wanted, but all right. And for some of us doing horrible in life, half and half of 50%, we'll be like, I'll take it. That's the best I can do, right? But women on the other hand, if it's not 100%, then they settled. No wonder they're so goddamn miserable. No wonder they are so miserable. I didn't get 100% of what I wanted. I got 90%, which you're not even going to get 90%, ladies. I'm sorry. So I settled. That's why men are just so much easier to make happy. We just are. We just are. And so shout out to all the women. It'd be so funny when they try to say things because they never think about how men move and operate and how we're just different than them. You're gonna go over there to those women and they don't challenge you. What did you just say? Wait a minute, you thought you ate with that comment, huh? The white girl crying. Those men, they would rather pleasure with this shit. She'd rather masturbate and watch porn and play video games than to go on a date with a real woman. Lady, does that not tell you how horrible the dating scene is for us? Do you understand what you just said? You don't even understand what you just said. You're saying that the women of our similar age are so horrible, we would much rather self-pleasure and play video games talking to strangers around the world. Do you not understand what you just said? Right? I swear they don't. Because even the threats are like funny. You're gonna die in a nursing home and nobody's gonna care. We're men. Especially if you're a black man. We're black men. Right? Y'all been telling us that since we was kids. We ain't do nothing. Right? And nobody's gonna come and visit you. Says the women that are not gonna have children. What? Says the women who don't have cousins, because their mothers and their grandmothers might have been on the same thing. So you not only do you not have siblings, you don't even have cousins. Thank you. And Mr. Strict you says, I doubt a left hand feels as good as a rose too. Man, them rose toys gotta be those gotta be magic. I bet you know that gotta be magic. Toy, I still remember that comment you made. I'm dying right now inside. I don't want to say it because I don't know if I got the authority to say it, but that, look, you stay away from the rose toys, ladies, because apparently it got crack in it. Right? Y'all want to talk about spirits? Y'all sure that rose toy about a spirit? It's of the devil. Right? That rose toy is of the devil. Oh man. Women saying, nah, I'm good. I'll be single. I got this. Right? Man, here's something. Whoever you are in the future, Mr. Yanni, whoever you are in the future, shout out to Better You, whoever and Kanye, not Kanye, whoever you are in the future, yeah, if you don't get a Miss Yanni Real Talk with Yanni off, if you don't get a Miss Real Talk with Yanni off, it ain't you, bro. It ain't you. It's not your fault. Right? I'm saying this, but I'm actually not trying to make it's funny, but I'm not trying to make fun of Yanni with that. And like I'm joking, but it's not really to make fun of her. It's to say like y'all need to stay the hell away from them damn toys, especially the rose toy. You're gonna be out here sound like Yanni. I'm decentramented. I could, 4-beat movement, and I'm okay with going to sleep by myself, and I'm okay with being alone, and right. And I look at all these. I don't care about the male gaze. Meanwhile, the ghost of Rose Past is walking through the goddamn apartment or a condo, because that's the man of the house now. Y'all want to talk about men and internet prawn. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, because this definitely got demonetized. That's for sure. Right? Man. Toya said, I'll never know. Man. Michael Ross says, I had a young lady tell me they're powerful. I bet. And Telescope says, in real life, ninjas gotta compete with the Terminator 5 level adult toy, we'll say, and and an ocean of priors. Man. Mr. Shukti uses single for too long with money equals a dungeon mechanized devices. Oh man, there is no competition. Look, yeah, he said chocolate. He said, yeah. Sorry, Toya. Toya said chocolate bar. Oh, y'all better stay away. Man, that thing got their mind gone. That thing's gone. Venom cases and left my butt off. The Rose toy is the man of the house. You funny, bruh. I mean it. The Rose toy is the man of the house now, and it's the right type of man too. It's funny because these women they make fun of the INCLSs waiting for the advancement in the technology to bring about the adult male toys, right? The robots, right? The adult robots, we'll say. But y'all over here with your handy dandy man in a pocket, the man you keep in the drawer until you're ready, what do you think you're doing? You got the man in the closet, literally. You got the man in the drawer, literally. Excuse me. I hope the man's not in the kitchen, right? You have the man in the nightstand, right, sitting in a drawer, waiting. Isn't that what y'all? Wait a minute. For a lot of black women, isn't that what you want? Protect, provide, shut up. Well, I can provide for myself, right? And maybe I can protect myself, maybe I have some arms training or whatnot. All I need now is the pocket P, right? The pocket D, better yet, right? Actually, exactly. And Jake says acting bitter because acting acting like a bitter child because they didn't get the complete Malibu Barbie set. Grow up, really. Joe says, "LOL." Man in the closet, batteries not included. It really is. It really is. GC says, all you hear in their quote unquote luxury apartments is that smoke detector beeping and that rose buzzing. You better believe you if you think I think Chrissy might be a bit out here with them white boys. But I wouldn't be surprised if Chrissy got her one too. They all buzzing. I wouldn't be surprised if late night you walk through these hood ass apartments and if there's no dude in there for too long, you're gonna walk by some of them doors. It's like it's funny, but it's sad as hell because we're human beings and we're black people in America, and we've come to this because somebody got their little feelings hurt, right? Someone has their little feelings hurt. Mr. Shakti says they have thousands of options versus men having palm and grease. Bring on the machines. Oh man, you gotta look. If they buzz that red button too much, I really don't know what men are gonna. You could not talk about energy. Now you're gonna have to get off on energy because it's not gonna be the physical, and y'all have supposedly more nerve endings down there too. Come on, man, and you keep on buzzing them nerves, literally. Oh, you get on my nerves. Apparently not. I'm not the one getting on your nerves. I'm not an inanimate object. Oh, these men get on my nerves. Clearly, there's something else you would much rather have getting on your nerves. Right? I can't compete with Buzz 1000. Buzz Lightyear over here. I can't compete against Buzz Lightyear. Funny that Buzz Lightyear is white. I'm just saying. Especially if you've been single for 3 and some odd years. So you and Buzz Lightyear, Mr. Rose, y'all been together for 3 years. I can't break that up. I'm the side dude. So no wonder Yanni talking about decenter men. You got one. You talking about decenter men. Now you got a man. He's just in your pocket. Lion don't got to worry about that. She had lipo. And Lion says, I'll definitely get on your nerves if you shut up and lose weight. Nah, she got lipo, bro. Nope. Mr. Shook to you, sis. Bob in a box and of the finest wine. Hysterical, right? And like, I'm joking, but I'm not joking. That's really sad, right? And instead of you encouraging younger black women, even oh man, you let Ebony K. Williams sound more rational than you. Find your man in college, right? Find somebody, get down on their program. Well, Ebony K. Williams definitely did not say that. And y'all make it work. Instead of you saying that, you really still with the decenter men thing, but for the 4B movement is just a bit too extreme, and you're only really saying that, Yanni, let's be honest, because you heard what the men had to say, and we brought the receipts of Korean women saying, yeah, but. And I see you played, what's her name? Amanda Epi, whatever the hell. The mixed conservative African sister. I see you played her. No wonder you sound schizophrenic about your political views, but okay. Right? And she did the homework to show, yeah, South Korean women aren't on this the way Western women think, or the way American women think. She didn't say it. Let's say it. The way black women think. Huh? When Yanni said, oh, no, it's really the economy, I was like, oh, okay, there's no way. There's no way. So, Yanni, do I actually expect you to say my name or our name over here in the Black Manosphere? Absolutely not. But if you're going to check your subscribers and your listeners, you got to go all the way, Yanni. Right? Lion already said it. And they still aren't going to listen to her. Yep. Right? Lion said name is Mr. Tingles. Man. They playing Pokemon and they throw out Mr. Tingles. Oh, hysterical. Can't believe I actually want to say I choose you. Alexa, play the Project Pat version of I choose. Oh. Man. Good point. And Michael Ross says, very, that's far off the cliff the modern female is. Yeah. Yeah. No, the way they talking about this Rose toy, it's not battery powered telescope, it's goddamn gasoline powered. Right? And telescope says black women battery drawer always got plenty AAAs and C cells, but never any 9 volts for that damn detector. Exactly. Man. Did she? And Leon says, in the end, Yanni is just another black girl that went to a white majority school and men didn't want her in that class. It really sucks for them versus the men like me. It was great for me. Look, now I do think she feels that a certain way because recall when she reviewed the video of the white girl talking about glowing up and the difference between when you're essentially, I guess, the ugly duckling to when you become the swan. And Yanni said, you know he needed a hug? 16-year-old me. Oh, boy, yeah. Black women. This childhood rejection and childhood. And Yanni wasn't hideous. I had sisters like her that had boyfriends in high school. I had sisters that looked just like young Yanni young pudgy Yanni that had boyfriends in high school, right? There are pudgy looking Yannies all across America that are married, right? There's something up with black women and this like child, and it's funny because they like to try to make fun of black men with this, but y'all childhood rejection arcs are hysterical sometimes, sad sometimes. I'm not gonna say depressing, it's really not, but sad. That shall be all in y'all 30s and 40s and 50s. Still talking about this because it's still a thing. Sometimes married, sometimes not. Sometimes has children, sometimes not. Sometimes married, divorced, and remarried, sometimes not. And you still recall that Tyrone didn't ask you to prom, middle school prom. What? Demetrius, I'm not even going to read that out loud because there's a pun in there. Ooh. Right? Man. And Leon says, good point. And Leon says, it's not the ugly duckling. It's way more complicated than that. I believe. Think about it. I had a car at 17 and I was driving down to Southside for the poor girls and dealing with older women in the North. Good point. So it's the whole lifestyle that they didn't get to live at a young age. It's what they didn't get to experience at a young age. And so when they access those things, you can't tell them nothing. And they feel like I'm never going back. And if they see men, black men, as a albatross or a anchor on their ankle, then they when I say black men, it's like almost all black men. Then for them, I'm not going to risk I'm not going to risk this lifestyle for a quote unquote relationship and some companionship and quote unquote love. Absolutely not. I get it. Right. I get it. And Mr. Shook to you says, I get all the tea they've traded up with no provision. Man. What do you mean by like traded up with no provision, Mr. Shook to you? Right? Because by the way, yeah, I think I get it, but I'm not sure. And I guess I'll read this now. And Detroit says, um, menu number 6, duck ock ass whooping specialty omelet. Calories equal 408,456. Trans fat equals 60,745. Saturated fat 80 80,008 kilograms of sugar and sugar 53,086 tablespoons. That really is the menu of like the duck ock ass whooping specialty omelet. Man, this is a good one actually. Yeah, and thank you for the super chat, Detroit. Man, I'm yeah, the omelet. the, Let me read this bit before I address that. Actually, let me read this first. And Telescope says, "Have these chicks got a DC MCU villain backstory? I need a man who can handle me." Nope. Really, it really is that, right? It really is that, huh? Absolutely not. Handle me, man. If you don't get the entire right, so yeah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I don't really hear Yanni saying that. As a matter of fact, Yanni did speak about, and I'll gotta say this part. Yanni did speak about the elders, black women. She said black women. She said women, but did she say women or did she say black women? I don't recall. But let's say black women. And the whole "I don't need no man" movement and how that actually turned out horrible for black women. So she did speak to that. Now she didn't say exactly why it turned out bad. She didn't exactly go into how assholish many of our mother's generation was. She didn't speak to how snarky they were, how many of them ran our dads away. And yes, women, you can run a man away. Or he wasn't strong enough. No, he didn't want to deal with your crap because he was going to get a domestic. There was going to be a whole lot of choking and Ike Turner going on in that goddamn house. Right? So, Yanni, if you're going to say it all the way. Yes, a lot of our moms was "I don't need no man" type thing, and they didn't get one. Or at least they didn't stay with one. Right? Okay, and Mr. Shook to you says, Z, I hear my wife talking to all her girlfriends in their 40s. No man, bragging on the Rose, and don't even want a man. They don't even care about money. Rose is the snake in the Garden of Eden. You know what? I think that's okay. I think that's okay. As long as those women aren't a burden on society, they're going to be a tax burden on society because most of them are probably not making enough, right? But as long as they're not harming men, they're going to be annoying if they work at the Walmart in the return line, right? If they work in the DMV, God have mercy on you when you got to deal with them at the DMV, right? God have mercy on you when you got to deal with them at the post office, although they might be a smidge nicer at the post office, right? But as long as they're not hurting anyone and the loneliness is eating at them and they're like, it's better than being with a loser black man, then let them have it, right? Man, that's crazy. And Leon says, Mr. Strict to you, bro, they're lying. They all share the same four guys that fix the AC and whatever else, aka the coach and referee. Bro, these ladies lying. I think some of them are. I think some of them are. I think some of them are piping or getting piped down by their son's coach. I do think because you once again the girls trip, right? The girls trip, women find out secrets about other women. They find out who the cheap ass is, right? But they also, once again, they find out secrets about the women in the friend circle. And so they be gone for 2, 3 days, maybe four, and they find out certain things. And one of those things is, no, girl, I've been celibate for 6 months. No, girl, I've been celibate for 9 months. No, girl, I've been celibate for a year. Who the hell is, who's this Randy that keep on calling you? Randy just calling you all this time for no vagina? Because he didn't get the vagina yet? Okay, yeah, that's it. And then maybe not, right? So yeah, no, I agree with Leon to a certain extent that yes, some of these women are lying, some, and others, no, I really think they hypnotized by the rose toy. I really do think that there are certain women that are hypnotized by the rose toy. So maybe we should even reconsider what we think, like this word celibate, because Yanni claims celibate. And look, Yanni, for the most part, unless it's psychological, I don't really know what a man's gonna do for you in the bedroom after you've been with Mister Buzz Lightyear over here, Mister Tingles, Mister Tingles. That was funny, right? For 3 years, 3 years at least. Yeah, okay. I'm telling you, well, I said women are pricing themselves out the game. So now they buzzing themselves out the game too. So you have the money, so you don't want or need a man with that necessary. You want a man, but you don't need a man for that. Okay, cool. You might have your right to bear arms. You might be exercising that. Fine. Okay, so the protection thing, you feel like you don't need a man for that. Also, okay, fine. Right. God forbid you're not close to it if something goes down. But okay, cool. And not only that, now you got the Buzz Lightyear also. Right. So wow, man. Dion says, "Bro, my dad was a coach and still a college level ref. I seen so too much since I was a baby, bro. You know I grew up in a gynocentrism. You know the lonely lady when you see her, she just want to talk. Good point, man. Mr. Shakti responds, Leon, coaches deserve some dome for all the work they put in mentoring. I did that on purpose at the end. All the work they put in mentoring. Lion says Buzz Lightyear. That's the name of a toy. No, I'm calling it that. Buzz Lightyear. I'm calling it that. Exactly. Thank you. Telescope got it. Telescope got it. Telescope got it. Buzz Lightyear's motto was to infinity and beyond. That's about what they expect, and apparently that's about what they are experiencing. Apparently that's about what they're experiencing. God damn, how far are you willing to go to spite men? How far are you willing to go to tell men I don't need you, I barely want you, I barely tolerate you? Right? Man. All right, I guess. I'm not against black women and women self-pleasuring themselves. Hey, if it worked for you, right? I guess. And Toya says, "Thanks, Telescope and Mr. Z for providing the soundbite for my short." Okay, let's see where Toya goes with this. Man, Mr. Shook to you says Dave Chappelle called it a lightsaber. It's definitely a saber. It's definitely a saber, and I think that's okay, y'all. Look, so at the end, I covered this because Yanni is trying to smooth criminal moonwalk her way um out of some of the more extreme sounding elements that she engaged in just a year ago, quite frankly, a little over a year ago, definitely, and a couple years ago, right? Um, okay, fine. The 4B movement for her is too extreme. I'm here to say, just like we said to Chrissy when she started to moonwalk backwards, yeah, but you help the ladies to get here. Have you heard yourself in the past? Number one. Number two, Yanni, if you are going to attempt to correct some of this, if you've matured, if you've gotten older, you have a certain level of wisdom now, you have to go all the way. Polling and asking your subscribers. So, how many of you would rather be single than be with a good, healthy man? That's not good enough, Yanni. Tell them the truth. Look, we don't earn enough for the most part. Ask them to actually put up how much they earn a year and tell them to be honest. And be honest with them. Girl, you 35, you only earn 32 a year. Yeah, you ain't gonna. Nope. You need a man. It's crazy listening to black people talk to other black people, particularly black people that might be earning a couple of dollars, and y'all done forgot what world we live in. Y'all forgot that you're black. Most black people don't got it like that. Lion says, now it's time to check on the K dot disc. When he dropped the new disc, right? Man. Ooh, that'd be dope. And Mr. Shook to you says, and we'll end out on that. Mr. Shook to you says, Toya, would it be too much to ask to get a panel of women to explain this phenomenon? And Toya says, I'd love to do it. Man. And Detroit Detroit got it in right literally before I ended out. And Detroit says, menu number 7, Green Goblin single bitter mom treatment. Pancakes, calories 500,000. God damn. 500,765. Trans fat equal 200. God, what are they eating? Trans fat equal 200,343. Saturated fat equal 80,987 and kilograms, and sugar 49,000 and 4. God. Man. And Toya says, I think we need to get women whom have been spoiled to offer the perspective that neither of the women you named seem to have. Yeah, yeah. What are we gonna call it? The life after Buzz Lightyear, if I got it correct. Life after Buzz Lightyear. Or are we speaking about the 4B movement or the decenterman movement? Maybe Mr. Z is off a little bit. And Toya says, the phenomenon lends itself to war stories and a connection between that and the right to be misandrous. Yeah. Lion says, surviving Buzz Lightyear. I'm saying. Seriously. I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly. But on that note, y'all, we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great, great, great rest of y'all day. Go touch some grass. I was living life out here reckless. Y'all already know. Yeah. Don't be like these people. Don't be like Toya. That's why I said don't be like Toya. Sorry, Toya. Toya, why am I getting Toya and Yanni mixed up? Toya, actually, if she was willing to talk to you, actually, Toya, if she was willing to talk to you, I don't know how we can make that work. But yeah, actually, Toya, maybe you want to. I don't know, but I remember one time she mentioned, this is years ago, she mentioned JD Black, like she would be willing to talk to him about something or interview with him with something. I think that would be dope if Toya could speak to Yanni, right? Because I think I trust you more um, as a woman adjacent to the space to speak to Yanni. That would be dope. Mr. Shook to you says these pop-up streams are the best. Right? And Toy said, "Oh, I didn't mean it, Toy. I didn't mean it like that." Right? But yeah, no, I think yeah, that would be dope if we could pull it. But yeah, no, don't be like Yanni. Um, and this is why I'm careful on my channel with how I speak because I don't want to have to backtrack leading young black men off the edge of a cliff, right? So yeah. But on that note, we'll pause right here. Truly, y'all have a great, great rest of y'all day. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. For the love of God, go touch some grass. Shout out to FD Signifier. Yawn. And yeah, so I'm gonna go continue watching and listening in for this Kendrick and Drake, Drake Nos, right? Dranos or Drake Nos versus the Rap Vengers, and let's see where this goes. This is a exciting moment in hip hop. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out. Oh, Mr. Shukti uses hip hop stream with Z and Toya part two. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Right, it's coming. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.